So today, we're going to talk about one of the most underrated and underappreciated songs in Metallica's discography. A song full of unique experimentations and things we never thought Metallica would ever do. And this song is Low Man's Lyric, a song that I personally really love. So welcome friends to yet another episode of Why They Don't Suck. The song starts out with this really chill melodic guitar part, which is more or so the same melody of the main part of the song, and also the same melody of James's humming, and then they all go on top of each other. And as we said, they're practically the same melody, but with different variations. And also, this particular song is very unique because it's the only Metallica song in their entire discography that has another instrument other than guitar be in the foreground of the song, to be the main instrument that the song relies on. Metallica used other instruments before on other songs, like piano on Sanitarium and a keyboard on Fade to Black, but it was just in some minor parts, not the main thing that the song relied on. The instrument is called a hurdy-gurdy, and the person that plays it on the song is called David Miles. And the main part of the song, or the main variation of the primary melody, is played on the hurdy-gurdy. The hurdy-gurdy, by the way, was an instrument first used in the 10th century to accompany choral singing in churches. So it's weird how the days passed and it turns out to be in a metal band song. And this hurdy-gurdy thing was pretty controversial. Some fans liked it and thought it was a pretty interesting experiment, and others didn't like it at all and thought it was a pretty weird thing to have in a song. For me, personally, I love it. I think it fits the style of the song and allows the song to stand out in Metallica's discography as one of the most unique tracks. But what did James think of it? Actually, surprisingly enough, James thought the experiment was not successful and thought that it did not work much, that hurdy-gurdy thing.
I always come in with this attitude of, all right, we're going to try this sound. I want to put this on the record. I want to, getting really, I don't know, like even Jimmy Page-ish, let's just totally take the rules and tear them up and friggin' go for something completely wacky. And we have done that in the past with certain things, and sometimes it's worked, and sometimes it hasn't. Nothing else matters. A symphony, oh my God, it actually worked. Low Man's Lyric, maybe not as much, but there's something exciting. I get excited about creating.
We know what's the most popular guitar technique. It's strumming. And strumming overall is overused in music and results in a lot of repetitive patterns. But James only uses strumming when it would really serve the song. And only two Metallica songs has such heavy usage of strumming. It's Mama Said and Low Man's Lyric. Both songs have a lot of country influences, so strumming is the primary guitar style to achieve that country look. We see James strumming a lot in that song, particularly in the chorus, this loose, campfire strumming style. In other songs, we do see James strumming on live performances a lot to make singing easier, but in actual studio versions, it's very, very, very rare, and that's another thing that makes Low Man's Lyric stand out, the country aspect of it. Metallica very rarely changes the entire structure and feel of a song in comparison to its demo. A lot of Metallica's demos are just basically unpolished versions of the studio songs. some things here and there change, but most things remain more or so the same. However, Hello Man's lyric is one of the rare songs that was completely changed from the demo. Everything changed. Metallica was thinking initially of heading the song in a totally different direction. You have, for example, the intro of the song on the studio version. It was much more straightforward, but on the demo, it had more stuff added to it, some hammer-ons here and there, more notes, even though it's the same melody. And overall, the demo was a much more traditional approach to the composition. You had the main melody of the song played on distorted guitar, being both catchy and heavy as hell. You have also a very heavy verse, with James's normal rough load and reload vocals, in comparison to the calm, chill, easygoing verse of the studio version. Also, when it comes to that melodic bridge in the song that I absolutely love, just goosebumps. It's completely different in comparison to the demo. On the demo, it's a freaking heavy riff. It's completely different, only the melodies are the same, but other than that, separate things. One is beautiful and melodic, and the other is heavy and shugging. Also, in contrast to the studio version, the demo has a bunch of really cool solos. You have the first solo, which is really beautiful. The idea of making a solo that copies what the vocals were doing is just really cool. And then you have the real solo, which is also really great. If it were a bit polished, I think it would make a masterpiece of a solo. So people are really divided whether the demo version or the studio version is better. Some say the studio version is way better, and some say the demo version is way better. For me, I like both versions equally, and it depends on the mood really, which one I would want to listen to at the current timing. Now let's get to the lyrics. And the lyrics of the song are really tragic and interesting. It talks about a drug addict who regrets everything he's done in his life and wants to commit suicide, the low man. And he writes a letter for a loved one to ask for forgiveness and understanding and explain everything. And the letter is the lyrics of the song. He sees the truth of what he let himself become, as in, my eyes seek reality. The line, my fingers seek my veins, though, could mean two things. His fingers are reaching his veins to dump the needle in them, as in usage of drugs, or it could mean his fingers are reaching his veins to cut his veins, as in commit suicide. He tells the loved one that could be his wife, mother, or father that his life is ruined and full of darkness, and he needs the loved one to save him. As in, there's a dog at your back step, he must come in from the rain. The dog is him, and the rain is the darkness in his life. Hanging on to his addiction and never letting go, that's his comfort zone. As in, the trash fire is warm. The trash fire here is his addiction. But nobody is safe from the consequences of this comfort zone, which is doing drugs and letting your addiction control you. As in, no one's safe from the storm. The storm here is the negative consequences of the addiction. He can't bear to see what he let himself become, so damaged and wicked by his sins. As in, and I can't bear to see what I've let me be, so wicked and worn. He is writing to his loved one what he did and what he's going to do. As in, so as I write to you of what is done and to do. He is hoping he or she will understand and won't be disappointed in him. As in, maybe you'll understand and won't cry for this man. And he asks for forgiveness. As in, please forgive me. And when they try to save him by putting him in rehab, for example, he just flees out of it and fights it and continues doing what he's doing. As in, so you bring this poor dog in from the rain, as in saves him, though he just wants right back out again. As in fights the help and goes back to the rain, which are the drugs. He lies to himself and tells himself that he can stop this addiction whenever he wants. But the truth is that he's broken. As in, but I lie straight to the mirror, the one I've broken to match my face. And now his life is ruined and nothing can save him and he gave up. And that is symbolized in the song by him falling and the net that was going to save him rotting. As in, I fall because I let go, the net below has rot away. Really brilliant lyrics by James. I really like the vocals on this song, and it is not a surprise, because Load Reload era was James's singing peak. You could hear James hitting very low notes in some bits. You also have James singing very melodically, which is some of his best vocal work.
Trash fire is warm, but no one's safe from the storm, and I can't bear to see what I've let me be, so wicked and warm.
I also really like the part where he makes his voice rougher near the end of the song. It's really catchy and well made and very James Hetfield-y style. And of course, this song was released in 1997, before autotune was a mainstream thing that all musicians use. So in the second chorus there, we had a vocal crack from James, and the song was released this way. Maybe because they thought it sounded cool and more organic.
The trash fire is warm.
Low Man's lyric in many different ways is a twin song to Mama Said from Load. A lot of things are present in both of them and absent in most of Metallica's discography. Both are heavily country influenced and have tons of strumming. Basically, most of it is strumming in the entire Metallica discography. Both are the different songs in Load and Reload that have no solos, tons of melodic singing and melancholy vibes. Both are widely different from their demos. Mama Said 2 had such a different demo, full of solos and a much longer duration, and both are song 11 on the track list. So these songs, even though they had their differences, followed the same path in writing and ended up with similarities in a lot of things. So yeah, such an awesome, underrated Metallica song, which had a lot of things to talk about, and I think we covered all of it. So what do you think of this song? And do you prefer the studio version or the demo version?